Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Eliezer Melamed, Shlita. Here we are, Yom Shlishi Pa'amayim Kitov. Thank you everyone for your well wishes for our 500th episode. Please continue davening for Chaylei Tzva Ganei Yisrael for Shlem L'chol Petzu'ei Yisrael and a safe return of our hostages. So excited to see Idan Alexander come home to the warm embrace of his family and his people. Still 58 more precious souls that we need to get home. So please continue all of your davening and your advocacy. And we learn every day Le'ili Nishmat, Saren Daniel Shem Ben Arav Durnon V'Sheli Hashem Yakum Damo. The next chapter, Be'eze Mikrim Mutar L'Shanos HaSanusach. Kafi Shelamadnu, Tzarech Adam Lishmar Al Minhag Avosav. So as we have learned, a person has to protect and safeguard the customs of your forebears. The pasuk in the beginning of Mishlei says, you shouldn't forsake the Torah of your mother. But when we talk about minhag, sometimes certain minhagim, certain customs are not as important as other laws, and therefore they could be pushed aside. L'mashal, for example, Adam sheyodeh bevadaos ki im yispalel b'beis hakneses shebenusach avosav yichavein pachos betfilaso, ve'ilu b'beis hakneses shebenusach acher yichaven yoser, yivcharis b'beis hakneses shebo yichaven yoser. So let's say a person knows that if he's going to daven in the shul that follows the nusach that his father followed, his family follows, and he's going to have less concentration, less ability to focus, but in a different shul, which davens in a different nusach, he'll have better kavanah. In that instance, Yivcharis Beis HaKnesses Shebo Yichaven Yoser Shezeo Ikar Tefillah. The main point of Tefillah is to concentrate on davening and to have kavanah. So you should go to where it is that you'll have better kavanah, even if it's a different nusach than your tradition. Amna b'mikra shel safek mutar sheispal Beis HaKnesses shebenusach avosav. But if there's a doubt, we're not sure which is going to be better concentrating for you. So then you should always follow the nusach of your father, of your family. Because if we play the long game of this, it would make sense that you would have a better shot at the nusach of your family, and you'll have better kavanah there. Because it's possible that at times, when a person is young, you don't really understand the value properly of the connection that you have to the nusach of your parents. And it's only after a lot of life experience, after a lot of time, many years, that a person understands the connection that you have to the nusach of your fathers. Interesting note he has here, worth looking at, note number 2. More details on this principle of embracing the nusach of your family. Ashkenazi shirot lispal fi kavanas hari. So let's say a person's Ashkenazi and wants to follow the nusach Arizal. L'shem kach hu wrote to lispal b'nusach Sfard, and he wants to daven in nusach Sfard. She'olav chaveres kavanas ari, because that has included in it all the Arizal's kavanos. So Rishoy Lasas a person can do so. V'hayu migdoli Ashkenaz shemipnei zeh shinim min hagam l'nusach Sfarad. So there are many great members of Ashkenaz who actually changed their minhag to the nusach Sfard. Uvenehem Rabosav shel Balach Chasam Sofer, Reb Nosson Adler, Reb Pinchas Bal Hafla. We have, for example, the Rebbe of the Chasam Sofer, his name is Reb Nosson Adler, and we have Reb Pinchas, the author of the Sefer Hafla. And even though they switched to Nusach Sfard, their Talmidim, their generations following, kept with Nusach Ashkenaz. Because they switched, Reb Nosson Adler, for example, switched because he wanted to follow the kavanas of the Arizal. That's allowing you to switch. But if a person does not have that specific intention, or you want to follow the Arizal, then it's better that you shouldn't change. Amnam manhige tenuas hachasidus odiru as kol chasideim l'shanos menusach Ashkenaz l'nichlas Sfard chasidi. All the Hasidic Rebbes, all the leaders of Chasidus, so you buy Chasidim, they don't daven regular Ashkenaz, they change it to the Hasidic version of Nusach Sfard. Limrosh Sherubim lo yadu as kavanas ari, without having anything to do with the Arizal. V'achein gedoli harabanim chilko aleim b'tokov, and this is one of the reasons why many of the great Litvish rabbis, they thought and they disagreed very strongly against Chasidus. Shehechshinu, how could they possibly change the Nusach? אבל הם שהיו גדולי עולם החליטו לשנות את המנהג, ומן הסתם היו להם טעמים נכבדים לכך. But it must be that these great rebbes, that they had their reasons, and they had their understanding as to why they could switch nusach on such a large scale. V'kayom kfar ein ma'arin aleihim, and nowadays it's not even an issue. We don't make any tinus. When you go to a Hasidic minyan, it's almost certain they're going to daven nusach sfard, and we couldn't care less in that sense. Sheyesh lefan of shnei batei knesses. Let's say you have two shuls that you can go to. Be'echad mispalam nusach avasav, aval ein mekayim mo shirei Torah. So in one they daven your nusach. I'll say that your nusach, meaning the nusach of your family, but there are no Torah study there. Uvasheni mispalam nusach acher aval yesh bo shiurei Torah. But in the second shul, they daven a different nusach, not your nusach, but they do have Torah classes. If you can estimate and you can figure out that by davening in the shul that has shiurim and has Torah study, that you'll be able to learn more Torah, better that you should daven there, even though it's not your nusach. Same thing goes when it comes to choosing a yeshiva to study Torah. You should pick the Torah study location based on the Torah study, not based on the nusach that they daven. Many yeshivas actually daven nusach sfard, and many Ashkenazi students will have to daven nusach sfard. That's how they learn. There you should daven where you should study in yeshiva rather, where you have the ability to elevate your study of Torah and your performance of mitzvos. I'll just share with you a personal vignette that when I first went to summer camp, and I went to a bit of a frummy summer camp, and they daven nusach sfard there, and I was pretty good at shul. So I was in, 6th grade when I went there, and I used to go to shul all the time, and I understood the nusach, and I understood davening. It was the first time in my life that I heard Kedusha, and I think, well, why are they saying Kedusha wrong? I don't understand. And the concept of Keser Yitnu Lecha and Shabbos Musaf Kedusha, I was completely lost. It took me a couple of weeks to figure out why Baruch She'amar is in the wrong place, why do they start with Hodu, all these things, because I just never seen it before. I've never been exposed to it. Now, it's kind of de rigueur. Whenever you go somewhere, you understand the Nusach, you understand where to daven, and it's part of life's experience. Well, let's continue. So also, when you have two shuls, one let's say you have a shul, they daven your nusach, but you realize that maybe you're not going to have a chevra there. Maybe they're much older than you, much younger than you. It's not really your chevra. And the other shul has a different nusach, but it's your chevra. These are your friends. These are people that you can associate with. If you feel in that instance, better you should daven in the shul where you'll have a greater religious experience. It'll increase your camaraderie and like-minded people in terms of being a better halachic Jew, things like that. Even though it's not your nusach, better you should go there because it will elevate your performance as an observant Jew. In all cases of doubt, so in case of doubt, where the different nusach that you could possibly go to, which is not your nusach, it's at least your mother's nusach, so it's easier then to decide where to daven because it's a suffix. Generally speaking, though, we should follow your father's nusach. But if you have preferences based on other factors, as we have mentioned, social factors, religious factors, learning Torah factors, you could choose to follow your mother's nusach, because even though it's not your father's nusach, but still it is part of you, it's your mother, and it is certainly within the realm to choose those. So we have all these opportunities and options and different situations where another nusach can come up, and one has to decide accordingly on all these factors. So thank you for listening today. Please continue davening for Chali Yitzchak and Israel for Shem Echol B'Tzvei Yisrael and the safe return of our hostages. Learning Leila Nishmat and Daniel Shemener of Dom Shelley Shem Damo. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you here next time. Have a wonderful day.